horsemanship and the good care that these horses get. So very nicely up the center line to the halt, standing very steady. But a walk step forward. Even it says you've got to halt and you've got to trot forward. So even if you have one walk step, you're automatically going to go down a mark, because you have to do the movements as they are written. Now you can see a little bit, he's a little bit flatter in his movement. That if for a medium trot, that really doesn't have enough engagement and suspension. He's very steady, but just a little bit showing his age. And shortening the stride a little bit to the shoulder in. But very steady, very much out in front of her, into the bridle, and paying good attention to her. And you just like to see him with a little bit more engagement there. And I think we're going to see the same thing in the extended trot, which comes up now. He just doesn't have quite the reach he used to have. Everything's just a little bit flat and running. So you could be on a 6 for that, but not much more, because it isn't truly extended. But here again, we've got a nice rhythm going, very steady, very confident. Horse not showing any tension. Very precise on his circle. And then the half pass, setting it up. Just running out of a little bit of oomph as he goes across. And there, it almost looks like she was going to turn the wrong way there from behind. But she recouped in time. But literally they should be walking by the time they make the turn. That's the way the movement is written. You don't walk in the turn. And for an extended walk, you want to see them clearly overstep. So it's regular, but it's not huge striding. In both gaits so far, he hasn't had huge strides. But very nicely back into the medium. Still 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. And quite square in the hold. A little bit hesitant, the backing. I think my comment as a judge would be reluctant backing. He just didn't step back smartly enough. And straight away to the extended canter. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, and fiddling around with his feet. He knew he had to do a change at the end, so he sort of threw in half a change and then half a change back. So he will not get a good mark. And that's 2 marks you've blown there. You've blown the mark on the extended and the mark on the flying change. So just a little bit disappointing. But you know, she's here at Rolex, she's brought him back, and I think that's a wonderful accomplishment. Now into the medium. We want to see a real ground gaining stride here, and then back, and then straight onto this half diagonal. Very difficult to do that nicely, and nicely in the change. That was a very clean change. It went through. There was no change in the rhythm before or after the flying change, and that's how it should be. Now she's got 5 loop serpentine. So 1 in true canter, 1 in counter canter, and the counter canter loop gets a mark to itself. That's why you have these 12 marks in the canter. You actually have to give a mark, separate mark for the counter canter. And the flying change, that came through nicely. And again, as I say, watch the legs on the right. And that wasn't quite as smooth as the other one, but it was true. You just saw him change his head position a little bit. So this has been a very steady, accurate test. The horse just showing his age a little bit. And down to the final halt. So that's We're looking at the scores now, and she's come up with about a 59, just almost squeaked into the 60s. But these scores still have to be confirmed. The judges sit there, and they have people sitting there with a computer next to them, and they're punching in the scores as they give the scores, but they still have to be checked against the written score. It's not final until the written sheets have been checked. Well, I think those who went early this morning had a worse time of the weather than it's really beginning to warm up a bit now. But this morning it was very chill, and it was